Hello, sir. This is our presentation for BEC 3433 Computer Network and Security Assignment. We are from Group 2, Section 1/1, and our chosen topic for this assignment is Control Hijacking Attacks and Defense. So, our group comprises 4 members. I'm Ng Chin Huan, and my group partners are Chin Wei, Nurul Izzati, and also Filza. So now, let's begin our presentation with a short introduction. Computer network and security is basically categorized hacking techniques and offering simple solutions. One of the most popular threats is control hijacking, attacks that involve the unauthorized manipulation of program control flow. Our study is to explore the methods employed in control hijacking attacks and consider into the defense mechanisms designed to mitigate these threats. Next, I will talk about the impact of unethical hacking. Unethical hacking has evolved from an initially positive acknowledgement of coding proficiency to a negative association with illegal activities. Surveys such as the 2010 or 2011 CSI Computer Crime and Security Survey and the 2012 Verizon Data Breach Investigation Report show that many organizations face hijacking attacks, mainly through malware, highlighting the need for enhanced security policy and defense. There are 3 types of attacks that will be highlighted in this presentation, which are repudiation attacks, denial of service, DOS, and the last one is modification attacks. So now, let's move on to the first attack, which is repudiation attack. Before we go deep into this topic, I would like to share the history of Trojan horse. The term of Trojan horse originally from Greek. So in order to attack a city, the Greek soldier hide themselves in a giant statue horse and place it on a lion's area. The lion thought it was a gift, so they accept the gift. Then, under cover of darkness, the Greek emerged from the statue and killed the lions. So basically, this is the idea where the repudiation attack comes from. Trojan horse today is like a hidden threat in your computer. It pretends to be a good file and trick people to install it. People often unknowingly bring Trojans into their computers by clicking on links in message, website, or emails. Hackers can secretly access the computer and do things like record keystrokes, take screenshots, access files, or control the computers. So some preventions are avoiding unverified executable files, rejecting unexpected attachments, and installing a software firewall. So the detections involve checking file modifications, the dates, size, and also checksum.
My name is Nurul Izzati binti Nasharuddin, and I'm going to talk about the denial of service. How denial of service work? Denial of service attack is someone uploading a very large files to an anonymous FTP server, or another example is arranging to have 5 million spam messages sent to mail server. There are 5 types of denial of service attack. The first one is preventable attacks, where the system administrator has designed a network or application level system to perform a variety of services without taking into consideration the limitations of that system. Number 2 is the non-preventable attacks, where the system administrator could not have been expected to anticipate or prepared for. Number 3 is the flood-based attack, where it consumes the limited resource of a computer or a network by transmitting a large number of packets as quick as possible. Number 4 is the software-based attack, where it exploits existing software weaknesses, resulting in either degraded performance or the victim server crashing. Number 5 is the distributed denial of service, where these attacks depend on the hacker's ability to compromise information on a large number of systems. Next, I'm going to talk about how to prevent denial of service attack. The first one is the rate limiting, where we restrict the volume of network traffic over a specific time period, essentially preventing web servers from getting overwhelmed by requests from specific IP addresses. Number two is the real-time monitoring, where it helps pinpoint potential threats by analyzing network traffic patterns, monitoring traffic spikes or other unusual activity, and adapting to defend against anonymous or malicious requests, protocols, and IP blocks. Number third is the network address translations, or also known as NAT, where we refuse network traffic from specific TCP ports, limiting the network traffic coming from specific network address. Lastly is the purchase denial of service protections, where it could be cloud-based services or on-premise hardware, or also can be hybrid, where it combines cloud and on-premise. Next, I'm going to talk about the importance of denial of service attack preventions, where it lies in safeguarding the availability, integrity, and confidentiality of systems and data, protecting reputations, mitigating financial losses, and ensuring the overall stability and security of both individual organizations and larger communities.
My name is Norfiza Binti Bakri. I'm going to explain about modification attacks. So a modification attack is when an unauthorized user try to modify the information. For example, here I give three users, which is Bobby, Sarah, and Jimmy. So basically, Bobby sent messages to Sarah, and then Sarah received, but Sarah modified the message from Bobby to Jimmy. So this kind of attack can happen whenever the information reside. This type of attack is an attack against the integrity of the information. So basically here what Sarah do, they modify, that means she manipulate the message and send it to Jimmy. So the second one is about type of modification attacks. We have two here, which is insertion and deletion. So the first one is when an insertion attack is made, information that did not previously exist is added. That means they modified by they insert a new additional text message in the existing messages. This attack may be mounted against historical information or information that is yet to be acted upon. The second one is deletion. Deletion is removal of existing information. They modify the information by they remove the a part of the message, a part of the information. The next one I will explain about session hijacking, which is one of the modification attack. But this one is a bit different. This attack was like an unauthorized individual takes control of a vehicle from those who are authorized to operate the vehicle. That means the attackers they attack the authorized user to operate the vehicle. So the vehicle that is taken over is the communication stream between a sender and a receiver. That means the attacker might pose as either sender or the receiver to take over the communication stream of the vehicle. How they do it? The hackers first sniff out of the session to be hijacked, then sniff specifically for the identification data. They use the data to inject themselves into the session as either party or both parties. The last one is about how to prevent modification attack. So we have four ways here. The first one is about encryption. So encryption, we can use the encryption to protect sensitive data both during transit and at rest. This helps to ensure that even if attacker gains access for the data, it remains unreadable without the proper encryption. The second one is monitoring and logging. So we can install reliable logging and monitoring system to quickly identify any authorized changes or suspicious activity. So basically, we can, such as we can monitor the system maybe 2 hours for one time so that we can identify any suspicious activity. So we can analyze logs regularly for signs of potential attacks. The third one is secure communication channels. So basically, we can use secure communication protocols such as HTTPS to forward the application. This helps to protect data transmission and prevents attackers from intercepting and modifying it. So the attackers cannot modify the data in the application by remove the end or is the new data. The last one is network segmentation, which is segment networks to isolate critical system from less secure environment. This can limit the potential impact of an attacker who gains access to one part of the network. So this is about we can limit the user to access the system. This is how to prevent the modification attack.
Hi sir, my name is Shinwei and I will be the presenter to present about the control hijacking technique used by hackers. So one of the famous hijacking technique used by hackers is buffer overflow. Buffers are memory storage regions that temporarily hold data while it is being transferred from one location to another. A buffer overflow occurs when the volume of data exceeds the storage capacity of the memory buffer. As a result, the program attempting to write the data to the buffer overwrites adjacent. So there are two types of buffer overflow. One is stack overflow, one is heap overflow. So this is the operation of stack overflow attack. So the stack is a LIFO, which is last in first out data structures. Stack overflow use push and pop as the functions. If the data placed on the memory was corrupted, it will overwrite the adjacent memory location. This will affect the data or pointer already stored by another program. The vulnerability is usually in C or C++ because we are free to use the pointer in those language. Example of stack overflow using C programming language. In this coding, the memory allocated is only 20 characters. However, the phrases that is directed to occupy the space is clearly longer than 20 characters. The main function verifies the function by passing the value. Study computer network is interesting as it can improve our knowledge. The check functions receive the value and copy it to the variable named variable1. The variable 1 has a memory equivalent to 20 characters assigned to it. A buffer overflow is inevitable when the 71 character string is copied to the variable 1. So now I will demonstrate the coding on Kali Linux. So this is a coding in Kali Linux. So I will using the terminal to demonstrate the coding. So now I will compile the file first using GCC. Okay, now I will run the code, which is the name I set it. So as we can see, in this code is executed, a segment failure message appear. This is an indication that a buffer overflow has occurred. Plainly, the extra 51 characters are pushed into the memory area adjacent to that which was set aside for variable 1. In this example, the application would fail, which create a deny of service condition, but it will not lead to additional forms of attack that can exploit this fail state. So now let's jump back to our presentation slide. So the next overflow attack is a heap overflow attack. This heap overflow occurs when a piece of memory is assigned to a heap and the data is written to that memory without the data being checked. This may result in some critical data structure in the heap, such as heap header or any heap-based data, such as dynamic object pointers, which can function stable. So this is a simple comparison between stack and heap overflow. So the memory using by stack is high and for heap is low. So the stack calling function short-term storage of variable. For heap, you use long-term storage for data. And the access for stack is frequently accessed and the access for heap is randomly accessed. And the expansion for stack is automatically, while the heap is automatically and using memory allocate function and break function. And the sequence used by stack is LIFO, last in first out, and the sequence used for heap is not applicable. And the growth for stack is from higher to lower address, and the growth for heap is from lower to higher address. That's all from us. So let me do a conclusion. Based on our topic, control hijacking attack and defense, we had discussed several of attack that hacker can do and methods to defend it. However, there's nobody can write a 100% secure programming to protect their networking, especially in this modern era. Protecting data from harm is complex process. Data can be protected by restricting access, providing physical security for computers, and by using confidential integrity and non-reputation process. Deciding the process which are correct in a given situation requires knowledge of how this process works and the ability to match them with conditions where they can use. Finally, no security process can be considered to be foolproof. Multiple protection process should be used, then there should be change in order to keep up to date with change in technology. Thank you for spending your time to watch this video. Thank you.